If you are a person who is using internet, then you would have come across a name: Money Heist, aka La Casa de Papel. Money Heist grabbed the attention of many people with its Season 4 release. Here are 30 facts which you missed in Money Heist. Before going in, there is a big spoiler alert for Season 4 and even Season 5. If you are new here, then make sure to subscribe and hit on the bell icon. We bring amazing facts videos for you. Without any further delay, let's jump into the facts heist. Despite how crazy its plots are, the series isn't written in advance. This may be the most shocking detail of Money Heist. The phenomenon, given how intricate the series is, many escape plans are. Scripts for the series aren't written in advance. Rather, they're written alongside filming. This is so that the writers can better understand what a script calls for and adapt the direction of the series. So if an actor or director captures something truly remarkable on set, the show itself can change on a dime to double down on that new direction. Money Heist Season 3 introduced a number of new characters, including Berlin's ex-wife Tatiana, to whom he confided the inner workings of the heist. And this character could play a major role in Season 5, as Tatiana and Inspector Alicia Sierra look similar. Inspector Sierra coming face to face with a professor at his hideout, things aren't exactly looking good for the future. But if you didn't immediately jump away during the final credits, you might have caught a little detail that might just hint at how the interaction between Sierra and the professor might go down. A few seconds into the credits, a woman's voice begins singing Bella Ciao, the sort of anthem of the crew. More on that later. By the way, so far in the series, the only people who have sang that song have been the followers of the professor. So whose voice is it that is singing it now? Well, that's none other than Sierra herself. So what could this mean? Well, it could be hinting that Sierra may be throwing on a red jumpsuit next season. Denver's laugh. Denver's unique laugh was written into the script even before Jamie Lorente was cast in the role. The script simply called for trashy laughter, and each actor who auditioned interpreted that differently. Throughout the story, many characters played their role, in which one who nailed his role is Berlin. He is the most mysterious and craziest one in the entire crew. Yet, fans love him. Money Heist was doomed to fail before Netflix picked it up. When the first season of La Casa de Papel premiered in Spain, it showed promise. Its first episode drew in 4.5 million viewers on the Spanish channel Antena 3. But as the series went on, its viewership plummeted. The creators and cast had already accepted the series was a flop when Netflix came along and acquired it. Netflix added La Casa de Papel, retitled as Money Heist in the United States, to its library with little advertisement. This unpredictable heist drama proved to be one of Netflix's smartest gambles. While La Casa de Papel might be the most apt description for the captivating series, it was not the first choice or any choice at all. The show's title was originally titled DESAHUCIADOS, a Spanish term meaning hopeless or irredeemable, which best described the crew consisting of societal rejects. The original title in Spanish is La Casa de Papel, which translates in English to the House of Paper, related to the fact that the series takes place in a place where paper money is stored and used to print money. Another title under consideration was La Casa de Carta, which translates to House of Cards, but that was abandoned due to the possibility of it being confused with Netflix's other hit series. Money Heist is the most viewed Netflix show or movie in 6 countries. According to the documentary, Money Heist is the most viewed program on Netflix in France, Italy, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, and Portugal. Season 1 never left Madrid, Spain. Despite the fact that Money Heist has always been an internationally focused show, the series never left Spain in its first season. All of those foreign locales were recreated by some dedicated set workers and a lot of CGI. One great example of special effects work that we see during the series happened during the first battle between the crew and police forces. During this conflict, several police cars had their windows replaced by something called a sugar glass. Sugar glass, in case you're unaware, acts like regular glass in most cases, but is made out of sugar. As the name would suggest, it breaks and shatters just like real glass, but is nearly harmless. Meaning that there weren't exactly any risks involved. The scuba and the money-throwing scenes were two of the most complicated in the entire show. There are two scenes the documentary highlights as being more difficult than all the rest. Denver, Jamie Lorente, stealing the Bank of Spain's gold while underwater, and the team throwing money into the air of a crowded public square. But the money-throwing distraction was this season's real nightmare. If you think the professor is a nerd, you're right. Money Heist. The phenomenon highlights one very important key to the series' success. No matter what the show aspires to be unpredictable. That dedication extends to Money Heist's fearless leader. As the show's creator cheerily explains, the professor is supposed to be a loser. You're supposed to think of him as a bumbling academic who's more comfortable teaching a class than hitting on women. But it's this unexpected leader of such a cool show that makes Money Heist so interesting, and it's the professor's dedication to precision that makes his heists so believable. Parts 3 and 4 made the break into the Bank of Spain as realistic as possible. From breaking into a vault filled with water to taking hostages, the team's infiltration of the Bank of Spain wasn't just for the cameras. The behind-the-scenes team did as much research as possible to make their heist seem realistic. This included hiring a marine engineer to help with the design of the Anticomer, as well as several metalworkers to learn the easiest way to melt gold and transport it away from the bank. Bella Ciao, which translates to Goodbye Beautiful, was a song of protest long before Money Heist. One of the most haunting moments of the series has little to do with outsmarting the police or surviving gunfire. It has to do with the song. In season 1, when the team first finds dirt in the Mint of Spain, they start singing the Italian song Bella Ciao. That dirt embodies the first hope that they really will be able to escape with their money. Lastly, Bella Ciao is repeated again, as the professor soberly sings it with his brother Berlin, Pedro Alonso. It's then that the song becomes a symbol of victory in the midst of rebellion. Yes, you all heard it right. Berlin and Professor are brothers from mother's side. Haven't you observed their both understanding and way of talking? The last words of Berlin were "Goodbye, little brother."
Te quiero mucho, hermanito. No lo olvides.
The story was portrayed way from the past, where the idea of heist came from the professor's father, as he was a heist man robbing money to medicate his dying son. Even though the professor spent his whole life in hospital, Berlin was the one whose countdown was running. This is the reason behind the professor's main rule: no relationship and team, because nothing would be worse losing a family member or a loved one. Tokyo was inspired by Natalie Portman. Well, that's not exactly as it sounds. Tokyo might be one of the most erratic characters in Money Heist, but she's definitely a favorite. The character, however, was not created from scratch. She was, in fact, inspired by Natalie Portman's Matilda character in the 1994 crime thriller, Leon. The Professional. Tokyo was the first character to get a name. Before anyone thought of giving the characters city names, Tokyo was already Tokyo. According to Jesus Colemanor, director and producer of the show, everything started when Money Heist creator Alex Pina came to work wearing a shirt that had the word Tokyo printed in front. Colemanor suddenly thought Tokyo would be the perfect name to give a character. 15 minutes later, he was already firing other city names such as Moscow, Denver, Berlin. Almost all of the heist team chose national capital cities as nicknames. Berlin, Germany; Helsinki, Finland; Nairobi, Kenya; Tokyo, Japan; Lisbon, Portugal; Bogota, Colombia. Even the pet ferret is named Sofia, Bulgaria. Only Denver, capital of Colorado; Rio de Janeiro, capital of the state of Rio de Janeiro; Palermo, capital of Sicily; Marseille, a city in France, were not national capitals. The professor also has a city name. According to Alvaro Mort, the actor who plays the professor, though unofficial, he has thought of the right name to fit his character. The concept of what it is fits him, but we have to remove the religious components. This would be Vatican City. It's a state city. A very small one. But like the professor, it's always shielded, and at the same time, it has a great power all over the world, Mort said. Jamie Lorente, who plays Denver in the show, would like to suggest an alternative, though. I would call him Professor Venice Beach, just because that would be amazing. The professor, Alvaro Mort, does not wear a pair of glasses in real life. Despite not being used to them, Alvaro Mort readjusted quickly to the outcome. A gesture the production team decided to keep because it looked good anyway. The character Nairobi was part of the initial script. Nairobi was added to the further stages of production. With all the scenes of the character you have watched since the release of Part 1, there was no way the show would go on without the Nairobi's presence in it. Imagine what Money Heist without Nairobi would have been like. Tokyo was not the original narrator. For those that may not be aware of this crucial fact, originally all the narrations were done by the professor in Moscow. Tokyo, who was a run robber, was recruited by the professor, and at one point she was nearly arrested by the Spanish police, while Moscow was Denver's father. Another robber on the squad. All of the robbers were originally meant to have terminal diseases, and that would be the reason why they would unite to make the heist. Heron likewise was only 20 years old when filming began. The infamous mask with its twisted mustache pays homage. Salvador Dalí was a renowned Spanish artist famous for his surrealist paintings and his anti-modern capitalist views. His personality was also an issue of interest during his lifetime. The painter, sculptor and filmmaker was considered abnormal, and despite attaining acclaim, his public behavior remained bizarre. 50 scenarios were written for Money Heist's debut episode. Ever wondered how close to perfect the debut episode of Money Heist was? To achieve the fantastic episode, the series makers made writers create at least 50 scenarios. The craze for perfection owed to the fact that the littlest detail has to reflect the story's big picture. The printing machines used in parts 1 and 2 were real. Before you jump off your seats, the printing machines used to print money in the show were actually newspaper printing machines and not the real deal. Though, it actually added a realistic feel to it, making it seem like they were. The outside of the building where the heist occurs isn't the actual Royal Mint of Spain, but in fact the Spanish National Research Council in Madrid. There was an attempt to record it at the Mint, which was denied by the institution. The interior scenes were recorded in a studio. Also, the Bank of Spain did not allow the production crew to visit the real building to replicate it on set. The interior sets were mostly fictional. Every show has most loved and hated characters for fans. In Money Heist, Berlin is the most loved character, and Arturo is the most hated one.